The first thing I saw was the note taped to the basement door that said, "Do not lock this." It was written in thick black marker, pressed hard enough to dent the wood. The tape was fresh, not curled, not dusty, recent. "Did you see this?" I said. "What?" Dennis called from the kitchen. "This," I said, touching the paper. He stepped over, still dripping from the rain, flashlight in his mouth. He read it, then pulled the light out and laughed once. "That's weird." "Why would someone say that?" I asked. Maybe it sticks if it's locked," he said. "Old cabins do that." I tried the handle. It turned easily. The door opened an inch and then stopped against something soft, like it had swollen from moisture. "Don't force it," Dennis said. "We just got here." Wind hit the side of the cabin hard enough to make the walls creak. "Yeah," I said. "We just got here." We had rushed inside 10 minutes earlier, soaked through. The storm had come in faster than we expected, the road turning to mud halfway up. Branches were already down. We barely got the lockbox open. Inside, it was pitch black. No power. We dropped our bags on the counter, knocking over whatever the owner had left there. I remember a spare key sliding off and hitting the floor, but I didn't stop to pick it up. "Fire first," Dennis said. "Everything else later." We got it going after a few tries. The place warmed up fast. It was small but solid. The kind of cabin that feels safe once you're inside it. We opened beers, sat close to the fire. "That note," I said. "It's nothing," Dennis said. "Owner probably has a reason. Old plumbing, sump pump access, something like that." "Well, then why not explain it?" He shrugged. "Because it's a rental, not a manual." The wind kept hitting the cabin in waves. The door to the basement sat in the corner, closed again. The note faced us like it was part of the room. "Don't lock this," I read again, quieter. Later, when the storm dropped to a steady rain, Dennis went over there with his flashlight. "I'm just checking it," he said. He opened the door fully this time. It scraped the floor. I stayed where I was. "Well?" I asked. "It's not really a basement," he said. It's more like a crawl space." "Anything weird?" "Just really low," he said, "like 2/3 height. You'd have to crouch." I got up and stood behind him. The beam of flashlight cut down a short set of steps. The ground was covered in plastic sheeting, wrinkled and damp looking. There were support posts, a few boxes, pipes running into the ceiling. "See?" he said. The light moved further in. "Does it go back more?" I asked. "Yeah," he said slowly, "a little. Hard to tell where it ends." The beam stopped on a dark stretch past the supports. It looked like it angled away from the house slightly. "Can you walk in there?" I asked. "There's water," he said. "It's not deep, it's just in pools. I don't feel like soaking my shoes." "Good," I said, "then don't." He stepped back, closing the door. "Are you locking it?" I asked. He glanced at the note. "No," he said, "apparently not." I woke up sometime after midnight. At first, I thought it was the rain again, but it wasn't steady. It came in irregular sounds. A step. Then nothing. What sounded like another step. A soft splash. I sat up. "Dennis," I whispered. He didn't answer. Another sound. What felt like closer this time. Not above us or outside, but below us. "Dennis," I said, louder. He woke up fast. "What?" "Listen." We both went still. For a few seconds, nothing. Then it came again. A slow shift of weight. A wet step, like someone moving carefully through shallow water. Dennis swung his legs off the bed. "Stay here," he said. "I'm not staying here," I said, already standing. We moved together into the main room. The fire had burned down to embers. The cabin felt different, smaller. The basement door was closed. The note was still there. Another sound came from below, a dull bump, like something brushing against wood. Dennis checked the front door. It was locked. It could be animals, he said, but his voice wasn't steady. In the basement? I said. Crawlspace, he corrected, but he didn't sound convinced. He reached for the basement handle. Wait, I said, the note. He looked at me. You think that matters right now? He said. I didn't answer. He didn't open it. We stood there until the sounds stopped. In the morning, the cabin looked normal again. Too normal. Sunlight came through the windows. The storm had passed completely. No movement, no noise. Let's just clean up and go out for a bit, Dennis said. Clear our heads. I nodded. While we packed some stuff for a hike, I checked the counter. The spare key, I said. What about it? He asked. It was here last night. We knocked it off the counter. So it's probably on the floor, he said. We both looked and looked more, but we couldn't find it. We checked under the table, under the bags, along the wall. Nothing. Are you sure you saw it? He asked. Yeah, I said. It hit the floor. I heard it. Maybe it slid somewhere, he said. It didn't slide out of the room. Neither of us said anything after that. We left the cabin for a few hours, walked the trail behind it, tried to act normal. On the back side of the cabin, near the foundation, I noticed a few things. Buckets, old ones, a couple of wooden crates. Those weren't there before, I said. Probably always there, Dennis said. They look used. He didn't answer. There were no visible openings into the crawl space from outside, no vents big enough for a person. We went back in. The second night, we didn't even try to relax. We kept the fire going, stayed up longer. Maybe we should just lock it, I said, nodding at the basement door. And ignore the only instruction the owner gave, Dennis said. Yes, I said. He shook his head. If something's wrong down there, locking it doesn't fix it. That doesn't make sense, I said. It does if it's already inside, he said. That shut me up. We went to bed late. The sounds started earlier this time. Not random. Movement. Clear movement. Step, step, splash. Pause. Then closer. I sat up immediately. It's back, I said. I hear it, Dennis said. The steps came toward the stairs and stopped. We both stared at the bedroom door. Then came a single sound right under us. A hand, maybe, or something, pressing against the underside of the floor. I feel like I felt it through the mattress. Dennis got up without saying anything, grabbed the flashlight, and walked out. Dennis, don't, I said. He didn't stop. I followed him. He stood at the basement door, light shaking slightly. Okay, he said quietly. Okay. He opened it, shined the light down. Nothing moved. The plastic sheeting was still, the supports cast long shadows. But the water had been disturbed. There were ripples, still fading. Hello, Dennis said, but there was no answer. He stepped down one stair. Dennis, I said. He froze. Look, I said. He angled the light down. There were muddy boot prints. They came from the darkness, across the plastic, up to the base of the stairs, then up 3 steps. Then they stopped, turned, and went back down. Dennis backed up slowly, closed the door. Neither of us spoke. We packed in under 10 minutes. We left before sunrise, didn't eat, didn't shower, just threw everything in the car and drove off. The road was still rough, but clear enough. Neither of us said anything until we hit pavement. What do you think that was? I asked. Dennis kept his eyes on the road. I don't know, he said. You don't think it was the owner? I asked. He would have said something, Dennis said. Would he? I said. He didn't answer. We never called him. He never reached out. The listing stayed up for a while, and then it was gone. I still think about the note. Not the warning. The wording. Do not lock this. Not for us, but for whatever needed it open.